Awesome. Hello, everyone. Let me know that you're here. Give me a sign, some thumbs up, etc. Those of you who I have not yet met, welcome. My name is Jay. And what we are doing is we've been going through the process of helping you understand what you need in place in order to make short-term rentals your business, specifically a scalable one, specifically one that has the capacity to deliver a very, what I would consider to be significant income to you, to your family, providing lots of jobs in your local area and making it all work together. So hopefully you are ready. All right. And what I mean by ready in this particular case is making sure that you have the workbook so that you are ready to write down the answers to all of the information that is contained therein. So in this particular case, if you have not yet grabbed a copy of the workbook, then you need to go do so. To do that, you're going to pick that up at CashFlowDiary.com/workbook. And this is the page we need to be on today because it's all about systems. It is all about systems today because this becomes the secret, if you will, if there was such one, to making sure that your income is scalable, making sure that your income is resilient, making sure that you have a recession-proof way to keep things moving forward. Hopefully that makes some sense. We're going to talk about a number of different systems. We're going to get through this information and it's going to come at you fast, which I'm excited about. Plus, we're going to talk about today what those next steps look like in terms of learning. How can you learn to take the expert tools and learn to use them expertly? And in fact, even learn to use them with the help of, well, other experts who are actively practicing right now the very same thing that you are. So I'm looking forward to that and making sure that everybody's on page on the same steps. So today, as I said, we're going to be talking about the systems, but I also want to make sure that you guys know for days 1, 2, and 3 that have come prior inside the Facebook group, what you can find are the units. Those units, if you will, are all there for you for the time being. That information will come down, so it's not going to just sit there. You can take your time to look at it, but one day if you show up and it's not there, don't be surprised. It's because it's gone. But ultimately, the information is there. It's provided for you to assist you in becoming a bigger, better, badder entrepreneur. So that is what it looks like if you're on a mobile. If you happen to be on desktop, it is actually right here and done this way. So if you're on a desktop, again, under the unit section, that's what it looks like. And then back again for mobile, it looks like this. So that way you have it and you're now able to, in either case, put yourself in a position to get caught up. Because today, ladies and gentlemen, you are also going to find out, for those of you who have been following along, a completed workbook has value. And we're going to tell you how much, we're going to tell you when, we're going to tell you what you need to do in order to make that happen. So if you have completed the workbook, exciting things should be happening for you right now. You should be excited about that. What is going to continue to happen, however, is we are going to keep making sure that we give you all of the expert tools that you need in order to make it work. We'll give you a direction, make that happen. So just for the fun of it, for me, do me a favor, write the word expert tools in the chat, because we're definitely going to make sure that you have those or have access to those. And you know what they are and why they're important, because they are a part of the system, right? No business can make it too far or at all, really, without effective systems. And yeah, so we're going to really hammer this point home, because I know from practice on a daily basis that is the difference between the amateur and the professional. Now, many of you have heard me say that before. Here's the definition that I am really making. The distinction is all around not only the use of systems, but understanding their importance to the point to where you make the investment. I'm saying it that way because many of you may know someone or are someone who has had or knows someone who has an Airbnb business. And you may be of the opinion you don't need to make significant investment either in your skill set, in your knowledge base, in your network, or in the things that are necessary in order to make this work. And okay, fine. However, I will tell you this. Individuals who we have helped get to the multiple 6 and 7 figures inside of 12 to 18 or 24 months. Like right now, I think the record for us helping someone get to 7 figures from 0 is 26 months. So getting the multiple 6 figures, that's way fast. But getting to that 7th is about 26 months right now. So if you want to come and break that record, by all means, bring it on. We would love that. But it's going to be a mastery of systems that's going to help you make that happen. It's just that simple. I mean, you're not going to be able to do it without it. And through that process, one of the things that I know I appreciate personally is the apprenticeship model of business. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for higher learning and education in universities and colleges and all of that stuff. There's a place for that. However, I've grown the most, learned the most when I can model myself after someone who is literally doing what it is that I want to be doing. And they can either watch me do it too or do it with me in various different ways. You make more progress. And that is pretty much our structure here and how we have helped those that we have indeed helped. So when it comes down to systems, if you talk to a traditional real estate person or a traditional landlord, etc., you will typically get a significant amount of negativity around the concept of short-term rentals because they will tell you it's more work. They was like, oh, nah, I don't want to do all of that. And that's just kind of what you hear. In fact, when I was first researching, like, hey, and finding out about short-term rentals and all this other stuff, I was like, okay, I would ask operators who had been doing it for a while, hey, do you like it? Almost across the board. The answer was, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Oh, cool. Now they told me why they love it and all those things. I was like, great. And then I would always follow up with, well, how many do you have? And why do you not have more? And when the answer to why do you not have more usually was, I don't know how to get another location. I don't know how to get more money. I'm already spending so much time ironing the sheets or washing this and doing these things. I don't know how I just don't know how I would ever have more. Like, how could I have time to have more? The 2 that I've got right now are taking up my entire life. And this was another telling sign. I'd ask them how. So when you go to build a unit, when you start a new location, how long does it take you to get one going? I would often hear answers in terms of number of weeks to get a new location going. I'm like, I'm like, help me understand. Like, from the time you sign the lease until you have it all done, it takes you weeks. And they're like, yeah. And as if that was, and again, for them, that was normal. That's just how their business ran. But in the back of my head, here's what I knew. I knew that everything that they were saying, from talking to more landlords, raising more capital, finding another location, building the units, all of them being tied to their phone or to doing the cleaning, all of that was systems. I knew that. My job then was very, very clear. I was like, okay, so the entire industry, if you will, is lacking systems. It's lacking some organization around systems. There was a significant number of individuals who were like, yeah, look at me. Aren't I great? This is what I've been able to do. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's wonderful for you. But how have you helped someone else duplicate exactly what you're doing? Can they? Did you teach them that? Or, are they able to do it again? And that's what we set out to do. I don't know, was that 4 years ago now? And it's been a fun journey watching many of you, some of you watching this, transform in faster and faster ways. And we just keep getting better and better at it, keep adding more to the system to make that work. See, it is the system that delivers the service. I'll say that again because it's important, and you should, yes, write it in the chat. For those of you who are joining for the first time, I'm going to ask you to write stuff in the chat a lot. Not because I need to see it necessarily, because again, CashFlowDiary team, we have the answers. You're talking to Rob and Jeremy and John and Wendy and Corinne and Stephanie. They're there. They have the answers already, right? So, and they're there to support you. Okay, so respond to them, especially if they send you a message. But my point is very simple. It's the system that delivers the service. The system that delivers the service. When you are the system, that's when you have a problem, right? I have said it before and I'll say it again. What you don't know can, has, and always will hurt you. Your inability or ignorance, if you will, around systems is costing you opportunity, revenue, money. You're not able to provide as many jobs as you could if you understood systems, right? And then not just understanding them, but then how do you leverage them, use them day to day, like step by step. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Oh, you did this. It broke. Help. How do I fix this? My system's not quite working right. All of that type of stuff, the day-to-day operational cost. See, anybody, I can point you to a resource. That's wonderful. But do you know how to use it day in and day out? Got it. But what systems do you need in place? Because there are more, first of all, there are more systems than I am going to be able to give you or even talk about today. There are more. But I'm going to go over some of the most important ones, especially when you're just starting, that you have to absolutely focus on. Because there is a cleaning system, there's a maintenance system, there's a repair, there's a replacement, there's also communications and availability, right? Your ability to leverage these systems and very specifically use them to your competitive advantage will determine your ability to be successful in this marketplace. Let me give you a very, very, very simple understanding here, okay? Very simple. One of the most frustrating things from a consumer, from a consumer perspective, is standing in line, right? Now, depending on the social distancing and that's happening in your area, you probably have been re-educated on how much standing in line you actually now have to do. Like if you've gone to a drive-through, the drive-through ain't so quick anymore right now, and you've been in line. No one likes it. It's not fun. Lines, right? Can't wait to see the lines at some of these amusement parks and how that's going to work out. But that's going to be a different story. But my point is standing in line. What you will find, and I'm going to give you an exercise so that you can go out there and try it, you will find that individuals who are already operating today do not have one of the simplest systems, communications, handled. They just don't have it handled. And what I mean by that is they don't respond, or they don't respond timely. And it sounds like, Jay, you kidding me? No, I'm not. Meaning you have customers who are literally asking you, hey, how much is it to stay these dates? And then they hear nothing. They just don't hear anything from a lot of people. And what ends up happening is the customer has responded right now. Consumer behavior has responded by, well, I've got to make this inquiry 15 different times. So I'm going to send the same message to 15 different people, and then I'll choose from the people who respond. So they're sorting the listing first. Okay, I think these look good enough. Then they contact all of them and wait for somebody to respond. That is consumer behavior. That is what we, the providers, have done and how we have trained them to respond. So here's a very simple win for you right here. Respond first. That's it. See, we have right now we have 34 units, 46 beds in operation. And 24/7, regardless of language and country or time of day, we respond in 7 minutes or less. to everything. 7 minutes or less. What does that ultimately mean? It means we process more people through the line. Customers actually don't stand in line. No waiting, aisle 3. Always. Therefore, we have more communication. Now, it doesn't sound like, okay, so what, Jay? I've got my cell phone. Awesome. You can do it on your lunch. Awesome. I got it. And by the time you've responded once, we've responded 2 or 3 times, thus getting the customer further down the sales process, closer to conversion. And by the time you respond, the message you get is, oh, I've already chosen a place. And it's simply because we responded in 7 minutes or less. And that's what I want to stress to you. See, sometimes it's not that you could have chosen the right location. You could have put the right furnishings in. You could have marketed it perfectly. You could have priced it right. You could do all of the things. And you know what happens? You just don't take the next step of communicating. Because you know what? You're like, I don't need to do this. I'll just respond when I wake up in the morning. Okay. And during that 7-hour period, or 8 hour, how many hours you sleep, we booked 3-4 different customers that could have also chosen you, but it was 7 hours. See, now this absolutely matters, especially when your customer comes from a different geographical area, i.e. time zone, than where the property might be. They're on a different time zone. Their day is different. They are the customer and they're waiting for you to respond. I know I'm hanging out on this one, but you would be surprised. So here's the exercise I want you to do. What I want you to do today, see, I've given you something to do every day. If you've been doing these things, what is happening is that your belief is increasing. So here's what I want you to do. All I want you to do is go to, say, HomeAway, Booking.com, maybe even Airbnb. I don't really care which platform. What I do care about is the following. Here are the technical details. Pick a date or dates at least 30 days from today. At least 30 days from today. Okay? I want you to pick a date at least 30 days from today. And then I want you to make an inquiry of just, hey, I'd like to stay, and see how long it takes for them to respond. Now, you're going to do this 5 times. And you're going to do this with 5 different operators. It's really important to make sure that you are choosing different operators, because if there are operators, if you don't, because it's not always obvious who's operating in a professional capacity, who has multiple listings and all this other stuff. It's just not always clear. Well, it's just not always clear. So there are some signs, but it's just not always clear. So I want you to do this with 5 different operators. That part is critical. 30 days from now, just make an inquiry and let's see what happens. Okay. I have an idea of what's going to happen for a lot of you, but just watch what happens and how quickly they respond or don't respond. Or if they do respond, do they respond with relevance? Meaning, do they actually answer the question you asked? Give it a test. And you'll begin to understand that that is one of the most basic systems. And most importantly, as you scale, this is the system that crushes people first, because there's so much communication that goes back and forth and people feel stuck to their phone to where they can't go back. They just can't. You can't handle it. There are too many details, too much back and forth, too many dates. It gets really, really rough, and you need a system that sorts it to make it work. But let me repeat the systems one more time. It's cleaning, maintenance, repair, replacement, communications, and availability, right? See, this is a, in fact, you got to remember, it's a 24/7 business. It just is. Now, I know you only want to clock in, clock out from 8 to 5 or what have you. Okay, fine. But it's always 8 to 5 somewhere. And that's the problem. It's always 8 to 5 somewhere. And if that's where your customer is coming from, then you got to be the one to be there for them. You got to be open, right? And because that's when the demand for the business is present. And if you aren't there, then you got no business. It's just that simple. So I also, as we continue to talk, and I think I've said this every day, is that you can have great tools. And you should. And we've given you a number of great tools. We gave you a workbook yesterday. We gave you some exercises to do on Tuesday. We have given you tools. Okay. However, having good tools, great tools, the best tools, expert tools is great. But just owning an expert tool, because that's what you can do, is wonderful. But you have to also know how to use an expert tool expertly. Let me give you a very simple example you're already familiar with. When you were in elementary school, you used a pencil. Now, it really wasn't this pencil, right? But you get my point. You used a pencil. A pencil is a tool. It is a writing instrument, if you will. Now, over time, you have learned to manipulate this tool to varying levels of degrees of expertise. But there was a time where you couldn't use a pencil properly. The pencil was still good at its job. You yet had to learn. Does that make sense? See, you can't YouTube that. They can tell you to use a pencil, but guess what? You still have to grab it in your hand and learn to put it in between your fingers and do things with it, right? So that you can use it. And until you do yourself, until you have many hours of practice with it, you don't develop the skill set necessary to use this expert tool expertly. And many people, especially in the short-term rental world, they know about expert tools, but they don't yet know how or where or even why they should learn to use them expertly. And I'm making this very, very important distinction because it's critical to your ability as an entrepreneur to grow. Just because you know a tool exists, until you've learned how to use it expertly, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't provide value in your hands. Michael Jordan today, still with a basketball in his hand, produces way more value than I do with the same basketball, because we all know his expertise. We know. There's nothing, we just know. We don't have to wonder. We don't have to guess. That is to say, the best way humans have ever transferred expertise is to use the apprenticeship model. To use a model where you can watch the master at work. See, have you ever wondered why grandma's cookie recipe only tastes that way when grandma makes it? Even though you're I got all the ingredients, I don't understand. Why isn't it working? Because see, grandma has learned to use those ingredients expertly. All of the tools. There's a reason, that grandma's got a favorite frying pan. And it looks black as I don't know what. It's all, you know what I'm talking about. There's a reason for that. It's because that has become her tool. She knows how to use that stove, specifically that burner on that stove. There's a reason that it's done that way. And that is not something you just know or can discover or even replicate from a book, right? You must be willing to develop that expertise. Now, here's the difference. Can you still earn money without developing expertise? Yes, you can. However, if for some reason the marketplace changes, you may find yourself in a position in which you don't know what to do or how to do anything or what lever to pull, and it could feel like it fell apart. And you don't, now you're like, okay, great, what do I do? How does this work? Where'd the money go? How come I'm begging? You got all these questions, which is good, yet At the same time, it's what you don't know can, has, and, well, always has hurt you. It's just that simple. And what we do here, CashFlowDiary, is we help you become an expert using expert tools as you are taught by people who already have developed years and tens of thousands of hours of using the tools expertly. That's the point. See, it's the collection of using all of these systems that creates the value. See, initially, you have to put in more work, more time, if you will, up front. I often tell people that if you have the mindset at the beginning, you do your first deals for experience, not profit. Somebody write this in the chat. You do your first deals for experience, not profit. Then later, you get to profit from your experience. That's the process I'm talking about. Every master was once a disaster. You're not going to be good at the beginning. That doesn't mean you won't make money. It also doesn't mean just because you're making money that you're an expert, that you got this, that somehow you're done learning. And it is that concept that happens often, that when we graduate or get a piece of paper, we think, okay, I'm done learning. Well, I don't know that entrepreneurship's for you if that's how you feel. There is no I'm done learning. Yeah. Now, I want to teach you a small little concept around inflation. All right? Because it's important that you get it, because the only way you and I, humans who have to deal with things like fiscal policy, can actually make this business, or any business for that matter, produce the level of revenue that you need in order to make the whole thing work and come together. So that's what I want to share with you right now. So let me see if I'm doing this right. Perfect. Okay. So let's go here and here. Hopefully you're paying attention to your screen as I'm writing. So for the sake of this example, I'm just going to make up some numbers so that you can get the concept, okay? When you have, let's say this is a short-term rental. In fact, to make this even easier for myself, all I'm going to do is draw them as squares. Each one of these squares, or each square that you see, is a short-term rental. For the sake of this conversation, we're going to say, and I'm just trying to make it really easy, all right? And I'm not saying this is what you would get or earn or any of those things, but I'm just trying to make it easy. For the sake of math and easiness, we're just going to say, and I'm putting everything in US dollars. So for those of you, UK, Australia, Canada, other places, I'm using US dollars, okay? But we're just going to say for each unit, unit, you have a $4,000 capacity or revenue for the month. That's what we're saying. Now, that means over a 12-month period, 12 months, you would have a $48,000 capacity. That's what it means. So let's, for the sake of this example, say if you have two, what does that look like? Well, now your capacity is, we'll say 8,000, because that's combined, right? 8,000, which now means over that same 12 months, it's the same 12 months. This is the key. Same 12 months. We're now looking at 96,000. Okay. Yeah. No, that was per year. Like, that doesn't look right. So per year. Well, let's go to 3. What happens at 3? I think you're getting where I'm headed with this, but it's important that you understand it. Okay. So now that we're at 3, we have $12,000, again, US dollars, and we're still working on a monthly number. And then we've got times 12, same 12 months. It's $144,000. Okay? So very quickly, I think you're beginning to see why we say multiple 6 figures and then obviously 7, because that's not difficult to achieve with what this service is. But let's keep going though, because I want to show you something. What happens when you have 12 of these? Okay? What happens when you have 12? I'm going to use a different color for a reason. So when you have 12 at the same rate, now you have $48,000 per month, right? We're going to multiply that by 12. And then for fun, I'm now going to pull up, oh, where's my calculator? That's not there. Calculator's normally right there. Anyway, 48. I just want to show the math because that way nobody knows. I'm not playing funny stuff with the numbers. 48,000 times 12. It's 576. Got it? So it's 576,000 a year. You've heard me say, remember, take what you used to earn a year and understand that you can then earn that on a monthly basis. Notice how that number's the same. And then the secret becomes, because here's the whole key right here. If one unit takes you, and I'm making up time right now, but if one unit takes you 30 hours a month to manage, let's just, for the sake of argument, say it takes you 30 hours per month to manage. Does 12 units take you suddenly 360 hours to do it? The answer is no. Because see, 12 units with the right systems still takes you the same 30 hours per month. This, my friends, is the secret. Right here. How do I still invest the same 30 hours per month? Because see, 30 hours per month at $48 or $4,000 a month feels a certain way, but 30 hours a month at 48 on a monthly basis feels a completely different way. Now, for those of you who are looking for a way to poke holes and you're ready to point out that I'm talking about gross revenue and not net profit, I totally got that. Please, for the moment, set your suspicion over here and focus on the principle. Get the lesson, because the lesson is, unless you are applying it, gross or net profit is irrelevant, but the principle is the same. Gross profit could be 1%. 1% of 4,000 is not much, but 1% of 48,000 is more. Either way, the principle is the same. It's not 1%, by the way. And I just want you to see this and understand that based upon today's language, some words that we have learned, that this is based upon what you now know, we all know, is an essential business. Go figure. Who knew? I mean, we've always said that food, clothing, and shelter is important, but now it's not just important. All of our governments across the world have shown us it's essential. As we look into the future, those who choose to execute their systems have a very bright future, because consumer behavior is what drives demand. And just ask yourself this question. When's the last time you shook somebody's hand? What does that mean? Well, that means that I probably don't want to touch an elevator button in a hotel. May not want to touch a doorknob. I may not want to meet you in person if I'm trying to pick up my room key. It means I don't necessarily want to walk through a 2,000 person lobby, do I? Consumer behavior drives demand. All of those things and more are all up in flux, but they're all in favor of the short-term rental operator, like all of them. And that's what's also exciting. That's part of what makes this opportunity. Where there's chaos, there's cash flow. And now, again, I am not saying I'm excited that there's a pandemic going on and people are dying. That is not what I am saying. I'm saying that you, entrepreneur, we have a role to play. You may have tried 9 times. Great. Now it's time for number 10. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the way you are going to play an offense against defense against all of the money printing and everything else that's going on is to be able to have more units of production. Because see, if you have 12 units, you are able to deliver a year's worth of economic value every 30 days. Because that's what you have. And that's how, with the systems, you keep the amount of time you are personally investing down, and you also provide jobs, but you also keep your income where you need it to be. It's because you're providing an essential service. Now, what it comes down to is I can tell you right now that one of the best, in fact, let me do that. One of the best systems for communication. Here's an expert tool. Hopefully you're ready. Okay. And because I know exactly what's about to happen right now. I love it though. Here's an expert tool. That right there, it's an expert tool. See, it's not a secret. SmartBnB is an expert tool. They've been an expert tool for quite some time. Pierre, the owner of the company, great gentleman, very bright, bootstrapped, love him, quintessential entrepreneur, has created one of the best products for communication. You now have an expert tool. Do you know how to use it expertly? Not yet. That takes time. That takes training. That takes a lot of things. And in fact, let me take this one more step. When it comes to having an expert tool, many of you are familiar with this. It's Trello, right? And you know, it's free. You're like, cool, awesome. But now, watch this. Because the question becomes isn't, do you know Trello? The question becomes is, do you know Trello or how to use Trello in such a way as to, as to use it expertly? Where to go? That's what we want. That's what you, not me, you have to learn. You have to learn how to use Trello expertly. Let me show you some of what I am talking about when I say that. Here we go. And this is still Trello, right? But do you have your standard operating procedures written out such that your staff can do them? Do you know all of them that you need? Are they easily accessible regardless of time of day? Or does your staff have to call you? Do you have a staff? How did you hire them? What was the job description? I think you're beginning to get it. And again, it's not that it's rocket science. It's that it's not done and you haven't learned how to use it expertly yet. That's the magic. That's the difference. And that's what we do. See, we've developed a program that is called the roadmap. That's what we call it. It's a roadmap to your first or next 6 figures using short-term rentals. And here's the thing. It's not a collection of videos and audios, downloads, and MP3s. Now, with that being said, There are videos, audios, and downloads and MP3s that are in there, but that's not it. Because see, we also know that you have purchased, at least I have, you've purchased courses before and you read them and you did what you could do with the information. And that's wonderful. It's not a lack of information. We've given you lots of information. It's seats, it's time in the saddle. You don't learn to ride a bike at a seminar. You can't. You can only learn to ride a bike by riding the bike. Like right now, one of the things that I'm excited about that I'm doing personally is I'm spending literally hours a day using I don't know if you're familiar with Peloton or not, but been on the bike. And it's a learning experience, to say the least. But that's okay. I know that every master was once a disaster. And it's just a part of the process. That's not abnormal. That is not strange. That is not even unexpected, if that makes sense. It's a part of the process for you to not be good at the thing at the beginning. But over time, you can get there. So what we've done is we've taken a collection of everything that I have here at CashFlowDiary has ever taught. We've put it together so that you can go through phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. No, I'm just kidding. It's only phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1, 2, and 3 of the system so that you can start with literally no real estate understanding and get all the way to the point to where you can buy properties every 30, 60, 90 days, every 6 months, every year, whatever schedule you'd like. Because in case you missed it, remember, phase 1 is just getting one. Phase 2 is learning how to scale it and build what becomes this goose that lays golden eggs. And those golden eggs is the down payment money for more real estate or whatever asset you like. That's it. Yep. And as the marketplace changes, we guide you through it because we're doing it too. Because because it's a collection of experts going in the same direction. Now, you may want to earn the money for a completely different reason, and that's fine. Your whys are yours. But part of the path, how you're going to get there, is very similar. You're going to leverage short-term rentals and learn along the way. So we teach you all the pieces in between so that you can ultimately become who it is that you'd like to be. Now, yes, it's 37, because there are 37 different courses of instruction. That's a lot. I know. That's why it's a 12-month program. And let me be very clear. It is a 12-month program. It's not a 12-month subscription, all right? It's a 12-month program, meaning the commitment is that you will be there for 12 months. And because you are making that commitment, you have a dedicated accountability coach. And because you have a dedicated accountability coach, what that means is that you have someone who understands the business model and more importantly, can step you through. Do this next. Now go do this. Now go do that. Why do we do it this way? Because accountability is required. You've tried doing it on your own. You've tried your best ideas. And now I know I'm shooting straight at your ego and pride and all the other stuff. Here's my point, and it's very simple. You woke up every day. I woke up every day. I started with a credit score of 398. That's what we ended up with the best ideas. Credit score 398, squatting in bank-owned property, could not do real estate, had no clue. We couldn't eat electricity or food. I'm not saying you're there today, but even if you are, keep listening. Because I don't care where you are. I care where you want to go. That's what should be important. That is the most important thing. Who you are, what you've done, whatever. That's in the past. Today, if you want to move forward, if you've ever considered getting involved in real estate, we've already built the path And it's not just more information. It's an understanding of how to implement it in an expert way consistently. And to do that, you have an accountability coach. But you also have me training you live multiple times per week. When I say multiple, I mean literally more than one, and I mean live. Myself, my team, and other experts that we have curated across the globe to help you become an entrepreneur. That is a transformation process that does not happen in a weekend, and no $297 course is going to do that for you. There are too many pieces, moving pieces here for that to happen. A collection of free YouTube videos will never get you there. Period. They can help you, but apprenticeship is what's required in order to get there. Now, if you just want one short-term rental, we are not the place for you at all. Okay, that please, no. If that's all you want, there, hey, do your thing. If you want multiple six on your way to seven figures, this is where you belong. Because this is who we create. Where I train you multiple times per week. My team trains you multiple times per week. You have access to 37 different courses on all of the information, including purchasing apartment buildings and raising capital, all the stuff you think you need now before you can get started. We've already got for you. All of it. And when you go there in your head and realize that not only have we covered that, but we've also covered models like the extended stay model. When you go there and realize that, we also have it such that you can learn how to self-fund your own business, meaning get one. We'll teach you what to do with the cash so that the next one is paid for by the first one. Get 10. We'll teach you how to do what to do with the cash so that the next 10 are paid by the first 10. Doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you're willing to learn, willing to fail fast, willing to fail forward, willing to fail frequently, because we will support you. We have a number of students all across the globe now practicing this particular strategy. We transformed the program of how we were teaching it from the beginning of this year to since the beginning of this year, so that we could give more, do more, be more, help you believe more. And the results have been nothing short of exciting and fun. Because even through a pandemic, many of our members inside the roadmap are adding more units, even right now. And it's exciting because a rising tide lifts all boats. And the only question is how many boats will you have? And you have a limited opportunity, because that's how opportunity works. So that we're clear, opportunity doesn't stop knocking. It keeps knocking until someone else opens the door. So what we're talking about is an opportunity for you to learn, to apprentice with experts, being taught how to start from wherever you are, to become a better entrepreneur, leveraging short-term rentals so that if you have a desire to long-term purchase real estate, you can do so. That's what it is. There's two ways to get started. What it comes down to is, first, if you like, okay, Jay, I got it. I've heard all. I have no more questions. Can you just tell me what I need to do? Absolutely. So what you're going to do is, where'd it go? You're going to click this link. Sorry, it disappeared on my screen. I'm like, I know it's somewhere. What you're going to do is you're going to go to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap. Now, when you get there, here's what's going to happen. you're going to see the price. The price, for those of you wondering, is $1,597 per month. That is correct. $1,597 on a monthly basis. If that stops you from then doing the next step, then you probably want to consider, do I really want to be an entrepreneur? Here's why I'm saying that and being very clear about it. Is because you're asking for a multiple six-figure outcome, which we've documented and proven, and we're excited and grateful to be able to provide. And your commitment, especially for the first 30 days, is $1,597. It is not uncommon for individuals within their first 60 or 90 days to get more than one unit. It's happened during the pandemic. It's happened all the time. And it's because of accountability, the structure that we've put in place. CashFlowDiary.com/roadmap. Now, if for some reason you still have a few more questions, okay, which is totally acceptable, totally fine. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put yourself at, stuff keeps disappearing on my screen. Let's try this one. I think that's the right one. Nope, that's... Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to CashFlowDiary.com/2020. CashFlowDiary.com/2020 is where you would need to go. So when you get there, you'll be able to see and to know. Let me see. 1 second. I might have it over. Nope. Where to go? I know I have it somewhere. Because I just want you guys to be able to see it. Is this it? Nope, that is not it. No. I know what I can do. I will make one real fast. Oh, this live stuff is still fun. And there we go. Or not. There it is. Got it. So I just made that real fast, as you saw. So CashFlowDiary.com/2020. So go there. You'll be able to schedule a time with Jeremy or with Robert. They'll answer the questions. Don't let the money piece, like I can't do this, or let the money piece, because that will also be part of the mental part that's an understanding to required. Yes, we know that you may not have all the cash. Don't let that stop you. Yes, we know that there's still going to be cash needed for getting the unit off the ground. We know that, but don't let that stop you either. And all of those things or more things we have dealt with many different people from many different countries. So give yourself a shot. Schedule a call. CashFlowDiary.com/2020. Now, with that being said, again, there's only two places to go. If you're like, hey, I'm ready, let's do this, go to CashFlowDiary.com/roadmap. Second, CashFlowDiary.com/2020. Tomorrow, we've got more information. Like I said, we're going to keep going. There's still more expert tools to talk about. There are still more expert things to talk about. But what I want to mention right now is the bonus. Because I told you that your workbook was worth something. Wrote it down. I'm going to tell you what it is worth right now. Where did I put it? There we go. See, part of the process of building your short-term rental includes obviously taking photos. And part of taking photos is finding a good photographer. And it's not a real estate photographer. That is actually not the answer. But we've also learned that many of you do not know what a good photographer means or how to find one or what questions to ask and all that kind of stuff. And here's my point. What we're going to do for those of you who are submitting your workbook is not only are we paying for your photos, I am interviewing your photographer. That's what's happening. I'm going to interview your photographer or potential photographers. We're going to make sure that you get a good one. Additionally, part of getting your first unit going, you often are presented with the challenge, with the challenge of describing it. the listing, the title, all the things, what do I say about the bathroom? And what do I say about this? And am I using correct grammar and English? Well, we're going to help you do that too. By help, we mean pay for. Do that too. Because there are professionals out there vendors out there that we have worked with and work with continuously who help our students make sure that it's said right. So it looks right, it says it right. Additionally, I've introduced you to one of the expert tools, Smart B&B. For those of you that are getting started with us right now during this session, you will not only get your first year of that paid for, you're also going to get an exclusive set of videos that we have developed on exactly how to get it set up quickly. So what does that mean? That means literally from determining who you want to serve, choosing the property, knowing what to put in the property, knowing how to market the property, and then knowing how to communicate and run the property are all things that we have the resources to help you with and will be helping you with. And even more so, what's getting really exciting for me is the fact that we even help you learn how to finance all of this stuff. Let me say that differently. When you go to CashFlowDiary.com/2020, make sure you ask the question, how can I get started with no cash out of my pocket? I think you'll enjoy the answer. So make sure you do that, because don't let opportunity keep knocking until it knocks on someone else's door. You're hearing it right now. You know what to do. Just go take the next step. Tomorrow, we'll be live again, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, and we're going to be talking more. In fact, we're going to begin to introduce you to some of the individuals who have had success at various different levels. They may have just gotten started, and you know what? They'll be able to tell you about their experience inside the roadmap. How's it been going? Because see, one of the unique things you also get access to is a dedicated app for your phone or tablet, whatever you want to use, or computer, so that you have direct access to your accountability coach. You have multiple trainings per week. Hear what I'm saying. And here's the fun part. We keep adding to the program. What do I mean by that? Many of you've seen this before, but now we're at 4 trainings a week. 4. It's so exciting. In fact, one of those trainings is about to get started right now for the members. We want to see you there. We think you belong there. That is why we're talking to you right now. We think there's an opportunity for many entrepreneurs to begin their journey into real estate, to end up in a very, very successful place. And we believe you're one of them. So all you have to do at this moment is go to cashflowdiary.com/roadmap and get started. And if you still had some questions, it's cashflowdiary.com/2020. And you can schedule a time, get your questions answered, but ultimately get started. And once you get started, stay started. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I would say a fun business. It's also a challenging business, but it's a business that is worth it. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it one more time. If I had to start all over, like literally from zero, but I got to keep like what I know, everything that I know tells me 100% that short-term rentals is the best way to build a real estate business. The best way to secure your ability to operate long-term, even if and especially when you're college age, got kids, near retirement. It just flat doesn't matter. We've had the privilege of serving you and serving thousands across the globe, tens of thousands, dare I say millions. And there has been no other strategy that we have ever talked about or shown that has produced the kinds of results that we're talking about here. in the time that we're talking about here. Certainly hope to see you on the other side. Worst case scenario, we'll see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow at 12 noon. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 noon for the next piece. Let me go. Where to go? Where's the... so yes, there we go. So we'll see you tomorrow at either 12 noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern. As I said before, I say again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun serving you. I look forward to talking to you again. Until next time.